Welcome to the new year, 2023. Yeah, I bet you guys weren't expecting this video, but you know what? Here I am making it anyway. Now, if you haven't seen my previous video from 2019, where I ranked every single movie I'd seen from there, I told myself all the way back then that I would want to remake a top 10 video whenever there was a year where I saw as many movies as I needed to. And yeah, 2020 and 2021 did not deliver for movies, for me at least. And then this year came around and we got some fantastic movies. In fact, I think this is actually my second highest movie year. Whatever. So before we get on with the list, I want to say a couple of things. First of all, I did not see every single movie I wanted to before this list. I ran out of time. So some of the more notable movies that I wasn't able to see before I made the list was RRR, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, The Northman, and The Whale. All of these I will probably eventually see. And if you want to know if they make it onto the list, check out my Letterboxd. If you don't know what Letterboxd is, it's basically a movie rating website, and I have a full ranking of every movie I've seen. So it's not just my top 10, it's the full ranking of every movie. So that might be enjoyable for some of you if you want to check it out. Brady Joker, you know what it is. Also, I just want to mention that this is, of course, just my opinion, very subjective. And also, this is not going to be reviews of all these movies. This is going to be kind of a rundown of, hey, really enjoyed it, here's why, moving on. So, yeah, I guess it's time that we should get on with the list. So, starting with... Alright, so kicking things off at number 10, we probably have the biggest surprise of the year for me personally. We have the Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Not the crappy one that came out that I still haven't even seen. So, yeah, sorry. So this movie was actually really entertaining, although it was very slow, which is why it's coming in at number 10. However, the stop-motion animation was so beautiful. It really was. It was something special. I really enjoyed it. I think the messages were really good. It's actually a lot more dark and tragic than I thought it would be going into it. But yeah, it's a really good movie. It's on Disney+. You should definitely go watch it if you haven't. Okay, so coming in at number 9, we actually have The Black Phone that came out apparently in 2021, according to the internet. But I thought it came out in 2022, so you know what? It's on the list. Deal with it. So I thought this was actually one of the more interesting horror movies I've seen in the last couple years. It takes a really interesting concept and it executes it a lot better than you would think after knowing the concept. Also, I'm a huge die-hard Ethan Hawke fan. I thought he was fantastic in Sinister. I've seen him in other roles that I really liked him in, like Gattaca. And I thought he did an excellent job here playing this kidnapper that is actually pretty scary. The performances are solid, the directing's solid, the writing is good. It was just a great movie. You should go watch it. I mean, you should watch every single movie on this list, honestly, because they're all really good. Okay, so coming in at number 8, this is actually the newer Scream. Yeah, I forgot this one came out too. This was a January movie, and it's actually the one I've most recently seen, surprisingly. Yeah, Scream 1 is my favorite horror movie of all time, and I think this was a worthy sequel, or I guess whatever they call it, the legacy-quel? I don't know. I do have my issues with it. I think the third act definitely gets a little bit too meta and definitely a bit more we're bringing back the originals kind of feel. I think it kind of lost me in the third act there. However, I loved seeing the original cast back. I enjoyed the first and second act of this film quite a bit. And yeah, if you love the Scream series as much as I do, then you should definitely give this movie a try. You might be like, ugh, no, it's not Wes Craven, I don't want to see it. No, you definitely should see it. It's good. It is really, really good. And yeah, this is probably my favorite horror movie of 2022. And yes, I did see Barbarian, for anybody wondering. Okay, so at number 7, I know a lot of people might be like, what? How is this movie not in your top 5, even top 3, or even your number 1? I'll tell you why. It's because I haven't seen the first one. Yeah, that's Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, I know. I haven't seen the first one. You're a disgrace. You suck. I hate you, Brady. Well, I don't care. Say all those mean things to me you want. Anyways, I thought this movie was a blast. I loved a lot of the action sequences. I loved the characters. I love Miles Teller and everything he does. I just thought this movie was a great time, especially that last act. That last act is crazy. It's emotional, it's funny, it's insanely well choreographed and just beautiful at times. There's just a couple things in that second act that didn't really connect with me. I thought that there were a couple like things I was like, I don't really see the connection. I don't really get why Maverick chose to do some of the things that he does, but yeah, that was really my only problem. I thought this movie was great. Okay, so at number 6, I'm actually going to give it to the Batman that came out towards the beginning of this year. It's as good as everyone says it is. It really is. I think Robert Pattinson did a fantastic job donning the cape, and it was really, really good. I love that this movie took the detective side of Batman and brought it to the big screen, because we hadn't really seen that live action before. I mean, of course we have The Dark Knight, but that was more crime, Gordon and Batman working together, Harvey Dent's in there. This was more, this is a Riddler who is leaving puzzles and clues that the audience is trying to figure out along with Batman, and it was just really fun to try to solve the puzzles with him while you're watching the movie. I do love a lot of the action in this movie. I thought it was really, really good. I particularly love the car chase scene with the Penguin. And the Joker's in it. Spoilers, but who hasn't seen this movie at this point? I mean, come on. And the movie is 3 hours, but come on. Give it a chance. My sister didn't. My sister's a loser. She went to go see it, and she left the theater with her friends early because she said it was boring. Yeah. I was disappointed too. Alright, so coming in at number 5, we have another movie that really surprised me with how good it actually was. We have The Menu. Wow. The Menu, when did this come out? I genuinely, were there any ads for this movie? Because I didn't see it. I just saw that it came out on HBO Max. I had heard a couple things about it, but then it just came out on HBO Max. So me and my sister were like, let's give it a watch. And it was awesome. You got the dude who plays Voldemort in there. You get the guy from Tolkien, and then the one from Last Night in Soho. I don't know any of their names. This movie took unexpected turns. I wasn't expecting a lot of things. I loved the ending. I thought it was a really satisfying conclusion to the movie. I really enjoyed a lot of what this movie had to bring. I loved the cast. I thought it was funny, and I love food. So there's that. I will say, though, there's one thing about the ending that I didn't particularly like, but you know what? That's a tiny little thing. I thought this movie was fantastic other than that. Kind of like another movie that's going to be on this list soon. This kind of brought me back to Agatha Christie, And Then There Were None type deals. If you haven't seen the 2015 masterpiece that is the miniseries And Then There Were None, do yourself a favor and watch it. It's genuinely amazing. But we're talking about The Menu. So brought me back to that. I really enjoyed that. Okay, so at number 4, I know a lot of people would probably put this at their number 1. I've seen everybody say, this is the best movie of 2022, at least for the people who have seen it. And I'm like, it was really, really good. It was number 4. And that's After Sun. Sorry, it's not my number 1. There's a couple of things holding this movie back, in my opinion. One of the main things is nothing happens. And I know that's kind of the point of the movie, but it makes the movie drag just a little bit, in my opinion. However, everything else is damn near perfect. I think both of the cast members, again, I'm sorry, I don't know their names, they both did a fantastic job. The little girl, this is her first acting performance, at least that I could find, because I looked it up in the middle of the movie. I was like, she has to be in other movies. This is fantastic, and she's not, which blew my mind away. I was like, that is insane. I just love the concept of just taking this average vacation that this father and daughter had, and you really get a glimpse into their lives, and you see how they react to each other, learning new things about them throughout the movie, and I thought it was brilliant. And I also really like in this movie how you don't really get a clean, solid answer for everything, which I really enjoyed. Kind of like The Lighthouse. I like movies where you can use your own imagination to interpret things, and I really dug this movie. Number 3, Banshees of Inisherin. It's amazing. Whoa, who would have thought? It's really good. I don't know what to say about this movie that hasn't already been said. I mean, if you want to look at a really good like review on it, just go to Carson's channel or anybody else talking about this movie, because yeah, it's pretty dang perfect. Although I do have issues with it. Kind of like After Sun, this movie kind of drags at times. But honestly, not really. I didn't think it drug, I don't know, as much as After Sun. I thought they both were a bit slow at times, but I think this one was definitely a bit more rewarding because you do kind of have that shock element for a plot point in the movie that I really enjoyed. Again, I think both of the actors here, I don't know their names. I know one of them is like Colin. Yeah, sorry, I'm having the same problem as I had with my 2019 ranking video. I can't remember anybody's names, and I don't have time to look them up because I'm on a time schedule. I have things to do in like an hour, so I gotta wrap this up. But if you haven't seen my 2019 video, don't. But you know what, for shits and gigs, I'm gonna link it in the description below. You can check it out, and then you can go to my letterbox where you can see an updated ranking of my 2019 movies, so you can see how much I have matured. You know what I'm saying? Okay, back to the Banshees. This movie's great. I love a lot of the things that it did. The movie's hilarious too at a lot of points, and it's just so bizarre how you can take such a simple concept and you can expand it into this massive story that is so intriguing, and you kind of feel for each character. I don't know if somebody watches this movie and they know what side they are on, because I kind of agree with both sides in this movie, and I'm like, I agree with him and I agree with him. If you watch this movie and you don't switch back and forth for whose side you're on more, then I don't know, maybe I'm weird. But yeah, you should definitely watch this one too, like every other movie, as I've already said. All right, let's move on to number 2. All right, number 2. Look, I know some people might get mad at me for this one, but Glass Onion Knives Out was actually so good. This movie was incredible. Like I said with the menu, it brought me back to And Then There Were None. Probably more so with this one, with the idea of taking, was it 10 people? I don't know if it was 10 people for this one, but 10 people on an island, and they each have something bad against them. Bam! And there's a lot more story plots that I can also connect to And Then There Were None, but that would be spoiling both And Then There Were None and this movie, which I obviously don't want to do in case you haven't seen it. Just go watch it on Netflix. I really love the cast. There are a couple characters that got on my nerves, though, that I really didn't like, but that's not the actor's fault, that's the writer's fault. I didn't jive with their characters. I didn't think they were good. Of course, Ed Norton was as good as he is in every movie. I really enjoyed him. Daniel Craig's character was just as good as he was in the first Knives Out, and yes, I prefer this film over the original Knives Out. I really do. Okay? Don't get mad at me. But yes, this movie is better than the original, in my opinion. I just feel like the original one was kind of all over the place, in my opinion, and also I haven't seen it since 2019, so I should probably give that a rewatch, but yeah. Glass Onion did things that I wasn't expecting. The twists and turns were executed perfectly. I thought this was a fantastic time, and highly recommend you watch it. And my number 1 movie of 2022. If you haven't figured it out yet, yep, Everything Everywhere All at Once. This movie is and was amazing. If you have not seen it, you have to see it. However, go in expecting that this movie is confusing. It will confuse you at first. And honestly, it doesn't get a lot better. I'm still kind of confused at a couple things about this movie. I don't care. This movie is perfect in every way, shape, or form. The performances were incredible. I genuinely don't have a favorite character or favorite performance. I think all 3 of your main characters did so good. I think the whole plot of the multiverse in this movie is done so like brilliantly. I think it was something that I hadn't seen before. I just love how also funny this movie is. This movie is so funny at times and has some of the best action I have seen in a very long time. So well choreographed, so well directed, so well acted, so good. This movie did things I wasn't expecting, and that's honestly what I love so much about it. And if you do want to watch this movie, which you should, go into it blind like I did, because it made my viewing experience 10 times better. Something else that I really enjoyed about this movie is that there's no set genre. There's kind of a bunch of genres intertwining, but one doesn't really outshine the others, in my opinion, like a bunch of other movies. This movie is a comedy, action, and drama. All three in one, and they balance each other perfectly, in my opinion. I know some people are saying that they didn't balance them at certain points, and it's tonally off at some points, but in my opinion, I think they balanced the three of them so well throughout the whole movie. Everything about this movie was perfect. The score, the writing, cinematography, the acting I already mentioned. This movie just did things that I have never seen before in a movie. It's definitely the most ambitious film I have ever seen in my entire life. And that is why it is my favorite movie of 2022. I almost said 2019. That would have ruined the whole cut. Alright, so that was my top 10 movies of 2022. If you want some more in-depth reviews on these films where I get into spoilers and stuff, let me know in the comments below. If you want more movie videos in general, I've been on a movie grind recently, so I would honestly really enjoy that. I can remake the original 2019 video if you want, or I can do previous years that I missed. But yeah, really wanted to get this one out soon though, because it's already January 6th, so I'm already behind. So, but yeah, if you want to see more, tell me. Alright, so yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. You still there? Oh, alright.